So if you don't know already, Emblem Tales has released a release date. No, the game has not released, but it has gotten a release date. If you don't know what Emblem Tales is, it was in the background. I'll put a trailer in the background and it'll also be on the screen, just so you know. But pretty much what has happened is a new game called Emblem Tales. It's just a very big game. If you don't know already, you should check out the trailer in my description and you can see it in the background of my video. Now this game has basically released a release date, and unfortunately it has delayed. It should have released 2021. It should have released this December, but it seems like they were not finished. As you can see on the screen currently, it says Emblem Tales announced today at 2 AM, and he added everyone and said, "We've decided to delay the game's release to February 18th, 2022. This is the decision that we have given a lot of thought and discussion, so it has taken us a bit longer than we wanted to announce. We're using this time to elevate the game to a higher standard and work on the rest of the features we feel are necessary at a more comfortable pace. Now that we promise a 2020 release, but this is something that we feel we have to do. In return, we'll continue posting sneaks when appropriate, and we'll do more to keep the community informed and engaged. We'll give more details on this at a later date. Thank you all for dedicated patience and loyalty for this long. Just hold on for a bit longer." Now, if you can see on the screen currently, there is like this bee. It's called the Hive, and pretty much it's basically like a dungeon to fight. And when I view this, I think of Final Fantasy 14. You might not know this, but people have played Final Fantasy 14. It's basically a MMORPG where you and squad go to defeat certain bosses on a set map. You have to defeat their mobs, you have to avoid their traps, and you just go through and you kill their mobs in a dungeon kind of system. And if you ever played the MMORPG, basically it's the dungeons. When I see Emblem Tales, I see Final Fantasy 14, and by that I mean the dungeon system, not that it's Final Fantasy 14, because Final Fantasy 14 is a gigantic game and Emblem Tales is a Roblox game, so they're very different. But if you look at the Hive, as you can see on the screen right now, I see a couple of players fighting against a big bee now and a bunch of small mobs, and I think of the boss fights of Final Fantasy 14, and I think of that and I correlate to this. Like, damn, is this basically the same thing? We don't know, we don't have enough information, but I think that Emblem Tales will have a dungeon system where you can basically fight bosses, and you have to have certain like roles. Like you have to be a tank, you have to be like a healer, you have to be attacker, you know, stuff like that. I believe that it will have it, and that's pretty cool actually. But there's not really much to be said. Unfortunately, it got delayed, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. Peace out.